Irashaimase! Hello and welcome to Fitaurus Kitchen. I'm your host, Chef Fitaurus. It's time once again for Shoot 'em Up Saturday, and on the menu this Saturday we have Blazing Chrome, an awesome homage to 16-bit running guns. What kind of taste will it have? Let's get cooking and find out. From developer Joy Masher, Blazing Chrome is a title that recently released on all major platforms. It's been one that I've been looking forward to for quite some time, as it's just looked awesome, and to be finally able to play it, well, I can definitely go and say this one's got a wonderful taste. So here at the main menu, I believe there are more modes that you can go and play the game in, but at this point I haven't had the chance to unlock them. So we've got the ability to look at rankings, the options. There are a couple more options that I would like, is maybe the ability to go and rebind some of your controls, and then arcade mode. Diving into arcade mode, if you happen to have had a previous playthrough that you have a continue save on, you can continue where you left off. This is a really nice feature, as it allows you to go and pick up and play the game wherever, and that's awesome to be able to go and do, especially on a system like the Nintendo Switch, which is the one that I'm reviewing this game on. So we'll go and say no and actually start a new run. So you can obviously play it in single player mode or two player mode. For the purpose of today's review, we'll be going and playing through it two player, just so you can kind of get a feel of how it looks that way. Once you select your player count, you get to select your difficulty. You have easy and normal by default, and then once you beat the game on normal, hardcore will be available. We'll just look at it on easy today, just so we can give you a feel for the game. Then on the Switch, at least, it goes and asks you to confirm your controllers. Standard fare for Nintendo Switch titles. So initially you have the choice of two characters, Maverick and Doyle. There are also two other characters that you can unlock throughout the course of play. You also have the ability to change the color between the player 1 and the player 2 colors for each of the characters. It's fun to be able to go and kind of swap and kind of customize your choice of character here. Although as far as gameplay is concerned, all the characters basically play the same. So we're going to dive, well, after you select your character, the game does have a really nice how to play, but we'll go ahead and skip past that. Now we have the ability to choose which stage we start on, and this is one thing that I really enjoy when shoot 'em ups in general usually do this. So you can go and start in the normal order, mission 1, mission 2, mission 3, mission 4, or you can go and play them out of order should you want to. And the difficulty is also listed as well, so you have an idea of what you're getting yourself into. We'll just go through the normal mission so you can get a feel for the game. Also like how there's a visual distortion on your little screen there, just kind of giving you a feel for kind of this post-apocalyptic world where humanity's lost and is on the brink of extinction to these robots that have taken over the planet. So, it's a standard run and gun fare where we have the ability to, of course, move around on the screen as well as fire our weapon. There's a couple different things that we also can do. There are 4 possible weapons that you can obtain, and each one has its own weapon slot, so you can swap between those once you obtain those weapons. One thing that you have to note, though, is that if you happen to die while holding a weapon, you'll lose that weapon. So far we've picked up the awesome pulse laser and this whip weapon, which is great for taking out enemies close range. It deals a lot of damage, but it's also tricky to use. The pulse laser actually deals quite a bit of damage and can be charged up, but especially when you go and charge it up, it can sometimes be hard to use it on the enemies that you want to. So in addition to the 4 weapons that you can potentially pick up, the other one that we don't currently have being the grenade, you also can pick up support bots. There are 3 types of support bots. One that goes and supports attack, where you get an extra option basically that goes and fires the same direction you do. The defense one, which puts a shield that lasts 2 hits around you. And also the speed bot, which allows you to A, go faster, and in my mind more importantly, double jump. The double jump is actually important because there are certain places throughout the game where you can't get certain power-ups, usually 1-ups, unless you have the speed bot. So here we find ourselves at the first sub-boss in the game. So the mini-bosses are a lot of fun, like in some cases just as much fun as the bosses, but... Oh. So this boss will like have a couple different modes. For this one here, he goes and fires targeted missiles at us. He'll also dive through towards the stage at us, and also fire his cannon. You don't actually take him out though. When he takes enough damage, then our buddy there in the human resistance comes and shoots him down. It's like, "Hey, bro!" he goes and says. So, throughout the course of the gameplay, there are also a couple spots where we can go and pick up mechs to run around on, and if you don't grab the mech, you can go and ride the helicopter through this section as well, which is pretty neat. So the mech basically allows you to be able to tank damage. You can go and take a few hits with the mech without dying, but once the mech takes enough hits, it will explode, so you have to be ready to go and jump ship at that point. So this is just a really fun little like rush section where the enemies are coming at us quite fast, but we have a lot more firepower because the helicopter dude is also taking care of us. But no, bro! Well, he gets shot down, and well, that's it for him, unfortunately. Another grenade power-up, and bam! We got this head that just poked its way through the wall. So it is possible to take up a fixed position and aim your shot at the enemy by holding one of the shoulder buttons, or specifically the right shoulder button. And there's one also move that I haven't talked about, and that's the ability to do a roll. So if you go and press down and your jump button, you'll do a roll where you roll along the ground, sometimes allowing you to dodge under bullets, but unfortunately it doesn't give you any kind of invulnerability frames. At least not that I've been able to go and tell. So here's the boss of stage 1, and this is a really beautiful boss fight. I really love the way that... That's right, I have another weapon equipped. I really love the detail in the boss, and really all the sprite work that this game has. So, this boss fight, we have to shoot the head to the point... I'll just swap to my main gun, as I'm having a hard time shooting the pulse laser. We have to shoot the head to the point where the boss's core becomes vulnerable. Then we can go and load shots into that, and we just have to rinse and repeat until the boss goes down. But the sprite work on the characters, the sprite work on the boss, the background, there's a lot about this game that if you love 16-bit art, then this is definitely something that's a feast for the senses. The boss blows up in epic fashion, and if you happen to go and be using the Joy-Cons, you also get some great HD rumble. Mission accomplished. So moving on to stage 2, you get the brief description of what your actual mission objective is there. Like, this is a very classic kind of Contra-like feel where we're riding in motorcycles through a stage, taking care of enemies that are coming from the fore and the background, and also like chasing, in this case we're chasing after an enemy supply train. And like basically that's what we have here in Blazing Chrome. It's definitely one of those titles that if you're a fan of 16-bit run and guns, then I can heartily recommend without any hesitation. But talking a little bit about the flavors, let's go and mention some of the minus flavors that I feel the game does have. So one thing that the game it has a potential problem with is it's relatively short. So there's only 6 stages total in the game, and while the stages specifically like I feel like stage 3 and 4 have some decent length to them, you'll finish playing through the game pretty quickly. So that's one thing that you want to keep in mind in picking up this title. In addition to that, as I mentioned, the characters don't really have any difference between them other than just the way that they look. And where we did have different characters, it would be nice if there was some difference between the characters, going and adding a little bit of a unique flavor to all the different characters that you can potentially play the game as. You know, just another, just a minor complaint, but a few extra other weapon types could have been neat too. But as far as like plus flavors are concerned, I love the sprite work. This sub-boss is a great example of a beautiful, beautiful enemy that we can fight, and the way that he goes and throws those grenades at us, just our explosions, our animations, the flying car. This game is a beauty to behold. And I also feel that it does a great job of paying homage to the 16-bit era run and gun. It captures that feeling really, really well, that nice arcadey feel that those games had. Definitely like reminiscent of titles like Contra, and a little later on in the genre, titles like the Metal Slug series. And like one of the things I just like love is just how intricate and beautiful the bosses are, and how fun the boss fights can be. So definitely, if you're a fan of the run and guns, this is a title that I highly recommend you pick up. Alright, that'll just about wrap it up for this week's episode of Shoot 'em Up Saturday. As always, I want to thank you so much for coming by, and I look forward to seeing you again next week.